Let's talk about the current Southwest Airlines flight attendant interview process. Let's talk about what you can expect. Let's talk about when you can apply. Let's talk about three new announcements, three new policies, benefits, announcements that were made within, well, the last 24 hours actually of the recording of this video. Let's talk about Southwest. So, I'm Abby Unger. I'm the owner of Flight Attendant Career Connection, and I help aspiring flight attendants land their dream job faster with less frustration. I don't work for Southwest, and I'm not affiliated with Southwest. All right. But I do know a couple pretty exciting things that I want to share with you about Southwest. And then I also want to go over the whole interview process. So I'm going to start with the announcements. If you feel like you're kind of familiar with the interview process, stay tuned because right at the beginning, I'm going to put the three things that you kind of need to know, the brand new things about Southwest, working for them, being a flight attendant for them. All right. So, first of all, I'm going to preface this by saying I do not know when Southwest will open their applications again. They usually open them every 12 to 18 months or so. The last time they accepted applications was in January 2023, and they are reportedly about halfway through those applications. They have not slowed down their hiring. They have not slowed down their interviewing. It just takes them a long time because it is a little bit more of a manual process. So we expect to see possibly first quarter next year. I know that they need flight attendants, so we're not thinking that they're just going to go through these applications and be done, but we don't know when they're going to be through these applications. Okay. Also, I feel like I should have blended that a bit more. So instead of just staring at it the whole time, I'm just gonna a little better. All right. So let's talk about the three announcements. First of all, crew bases. Crew bases last night. So today, it doesn't matter. It's mid August 2023. This video will probably be relevant though for I don't know 12, 18 months at least. But last night, brand new announcement, brand new crew base. So Southwest Airlines next year, quarter two of 2024, is planning to just announced that they're going to open a brand new crew base in Nashville, Tennessee, BNA, Nashville, Tennessee. This is not really surprising. I remember going to Southwest events and hearing people, employees ask, are we going to get a Nashville crew base? Probably for the last 12 years. So I'm excited. This is cool. Anytime there's a new crew base, that is exciting. It helps spread people out a little bit. Now, if you're wondering if all the new hires are going to be sent there, probably not. First thing that will happen is anyone who wants to live in Nashville or wants to be based in Nashville will have the opportunity to put in their bid to relocate, to transfer in, not relocate, not necessarily move, but to transfer in to Nashville. So that will happen first, all the current employees. And the company said that part of the reason they chose Nashville is because of the number of crew members who actually already live in Nashville. So because of that, I don't expect it'll be open to new hires at first, but we may see this allow some of the other bases that haven't had a lot of movement over the last couple of years have some new life and some new movement. And it does make Nashville available. So if you do live in Nashville, you probably wouldn't get based there straight out of training, but you put your transfer in. And I don't know how long it'll take, but you'll get there. Yesterday, this wasn't an option. Today, it's an option. So that's really exciting. And then the other thing is about flight benefits. So flight benefits, one thing that has that they just announced as well last night is that they're going to be one of the flight benefits or one of the benefits of being an employee for Southwest Airlines will be that you can purchase for yourself and your travel dependents, that you can purchase a confirmed ticket at a 20% discount all the time. So in the past, and they said they're not going to stop doing this, but in the past, like I think at Christmas, they send out like for for 20% off coupon codes that you can use for like anything for anybody. You could share them. It's not like limited, but this is going to be something that's going to be ongoing, but it's for your dependents. So you and your travel companion, spouse, person, parents, children, whoever's on your flight benefits, you can now purchase them a ticket 20% off, and it's confirmed. You can also use Rapid Rewards points with the 20% off. So that's kind of cool because that's one of the, depending on if you choose to get buddy passes or not, if you choose to opt out of buddy passes, I believe you get Rapid Rewards points, which is like their frequent flyer program. It's not an employee program, it's frequent flyer miles, basically. So that's pretty cool. That's exciting. It's probably, though, this new, like, we can get discounted confirmed tickets if we're employees, is probably in response to a different policy change, though, that was not that exciting to pretty much any aviation employee that had flight benefits on Southwest, which is more than just Southwest employees, anyone in aviation. So a few days ago, Southwest announced a change to their standby policy, and this is for revenue travelers. Okay, so this is for paying passengers. Revenue travelers can stand by for free same day of travel on any flight. So what that means is if there's a flight to Las Vegas and I'm trying to non-rev on it, I'm trying to fly standby as an employee or employee benefits, right? And there's 5 open seats and I'm like, oh, good. Okay, 5 open seats. I'm at the gate, 5 open seats. This family of 5 could come up. That's revenue. And they could say, hey, is there any way we can get on this flight? And with no fee or no problem, they could all be moved up onto that flight. And so now the flight is full and I no longer can get on. So it makes it difficult for using your non-rev benefits because you don't know you don't know until the very, very last minute. Whereas right now, we kind of know, like, if the flight looks full, if it doesn't look full, you can kind of gauge it. And a lot of people commute on Southwest, as well as commuters that work for Southwest commute on Southwest too. So I think that it's going to change the way that like commuting and things like that looks, because now there's less even less guarantee than there was before that that the flight will be full or will not be full. So lots of changes happening day of, hour of, 30 minutes before departure kind of thing, which can make it kind of more difficult to fly on your flight benefits, because remember, you get to fly on your flight benefits if there's an open seat. So as an answer to that, I'm kind of thinking that maybe they're offering this discounted confirmed ticket as a way to help you fly confirmed. If there's something you really need to get to or you really need to get back for, you could now buy a discounted confirmed ticket. And then the revenue standbys trying to move up or move forward wouldn't affect you as much, right? Okay, so those are kind of like the 3 announcements. New crew base, new benefit as far as 20% off tickets, and this new revenue standby day of travel kind of thing. Is what it is. But it's great for the passengers. Paying passengers are so excited about it. I was sure that they are just delighted. But us aviation people who try to non-rev, yeah, not as excited, but that's okay. Another thing about Southwest that I just learned, this is brand new too, is they just got a Z fare agreement with British Airways. So we didn't have one before. They didn't have one before. So I'm excited to hear that they finally got one, because it's been a really long time. So now on British Airways, they already had one with like Air France, and then of course all Delta, American, United flying internationally. But if you want to fly international and you're looking at Southwest as a company to work for, you won't work flights internationally, but you do have flight benefits that can get you international travel, which is cool. Okay, so those are the 3 announcements. Now let's talk about The flight attendant hiring process. So the current flight attendant hiring process. Like I said, they accepted applications way back in January 2023. That was the last time they accepted applications. Last that I heard from one of my clients who went to a face-to-face about 3 weeks ago, that he was told that they had gone through about half of the applications. So we're looking at maybe 6 months or so that they've gone through half. So we're thinking maybe 6 months or so for the other half. Honestly, the last half goes a little bit more quickly sometimes because people who applied in January have been probably also applying for other airlines in the meantime. And so it wouldn't be unusual for a number of them to have already been scooped up by Delta, American, United, Alaska, maybe another airline that they wouldn't necessarily want to leave for Southwest. So that can cause the process to go a little bit more quickly in the last half because people's life has changed so much since January that they maybe are no longer interested or able to pursue the flight attendant career at Southwest. So this may go a little bit faster than 6 months, which would be kind of cool because we would love to see them accept flight attendant applications again. So, first step in the process is your application. They will announce before they open. They always send out an email to their employees, which triggers a huge, amazing celebration on the social media. I'll post it in Flight Attendant Career Connection Facebook group. I'll also send out an email to everyone that's on my email list, make sure that everybody knows that they're accepting applications, and they usually only do it for a limited number of hours. It's like 4 to 6 hours, and they tell you this is the window. In the meantime, if you want between now and then, you can go ahead and go onto southwest.com and set up a candidate profile, which means part of your work is done on application day. You've already got your name, address, maybe even your resume and stuff uploaded into there so that you're not having to create a profile and then also fill out the application because their website does crash when this happens. 2 times ago, it crashed in 2022. It crashed pretty substantially. This last time, it did much better. It was just more like sluggish or kicking you out sometimes, but it didn't just like completely just like go away or just be like completely impossible like it was the time before. So I know that they always prepare their computer systems too on that side that this is what's going to happen. We are going to get 30,000 people logging on at the same time. So how can we handle that? Okay, so application is the first step. You apply with your resume and you fill out your application. There are some pre-qualification questions on there about your age, about being able to work in the US, things like that. Make sure that you read the questions really carefully and answer them correctly so that you're not disqualified. Because in my experience over the last 10 years, if you meet the minimum qualifications, we're talking age and ability to work in the US, like haven't failed a drug test, like very basic things, then you more than likely will get an interview of some sort. So make sure that you are reading that information. When can you reapply again? I was listening to a webinar that the Southwest Careers Connection is what it's called, or Career Connections, 2 weeks ago, and they said that they weren't really sure what it's going to be because it's changed a couple of times. It used to be like a year period, end of story, but then it was 6 months, and then they also invited people to reapply no matter when you've applied. They've kind of changed it over the last 3 applications. So we'll just have to wait and see. And that's what they said. They didn't really know, the recruiters. They just said when the application comes up, just read it and it'll have the information in there as to whether or not you're eligible to apply. Slightly frustrating, but that's what it is. So we don't know right at this moment. So I guess everyone should be ready. Fingers crossed that we could all reapply, right? So as far as resumes goes, that's the second step. resume review. Southwest, as of now, does not use any kind of technology to screen resumes. They are all screened by a human being, which is part of the reason that it takes so long to get your interview, is because they are screening the resumes by eyeball, by hand, by eyeball, um, all of them. So this is nice if you have struggled in the past with getting your resume through those automatic software things where they're looking for keywords like the other airlines use, but it does slow down the process. But either way, that's the next step. After that, then you will, the next step is different for different people. The next step could be a phone interview. Not everyone gets a phone interview. Some people get a phone interview. Again, I have been, I'm always trying to like figure it out. I can't figure out who gets a phone interview and who doesn't. I've seen former flight attendants get the phone, not get the phone. I've seen former applicants get the phone, not get the phone. I've seen people, brand new applicants, get the phone, not get the phone. I don't know what it is that causes you to be invited to a phone interview or not to a phone interview. If you don't get a phone interview, then you usually just skip this step. Okay, so it's not like a TB&T, but you may or may not have the phone interview step. So let's talk about phone interview. Phone interview step is them having a conversation. So it's a phone interview, right? So you get an email or a phone call to set up a phone interview. It's similar to like a video interview that you may have done before, except it's on the phone. How like talk about, let's like throw it back old school. So it's on the phone, which is nice because you don't have to get dressed up. But it's similar questions. They're going to want to know, why do you want to be a flight attendant? They're going to want to know, why do you want to work for Southwest? And their question's going to say something about like, why do you feel like you're a good fit for the Southwest culture? Something along those lines. There's going to be a couple star format questions. I would be ready to answer a question about a time that you worked with a difficult coworker or a coworker who wasn't doing their job. I would be ready to talk about a time that you saw a coworker do something that wasn't safe. I would also be ready to talk about a time that that you went above and beyond for a customer. You went out of your way to help a customer. And I would also be ready to talk about what the job responsibilities, as well as like kind of a day in the life of a flight attendant. Like, what does a flight attendant's duties look like? So more than just flight attendant's responsibilities are safety. More than that, like the actual things, like she helps with boarding, she offers beverages, picks up garbage, checks emergency equipment, like more like that, so that it's the actual kind of like tasks for the day, not the goal of the day, which is safety and customer service, right? Southwest has a great website, career website with so much information on it. Please spend some time on there. Please spend some time looking at the words that they use, looking at what they're excited about themselves, what excites them about themselves, because you want to get excited about that too, right? So please spend some time on the Southwest website. I'll try to link below where you can go and kind of get started. There's lots of like hyperlinks within each page. You can go on all the rabbit trails and you can just learn so much about Southwest. It's such a gift, really, honestly, that they're not mysterious and that they have so much information. All right. So that's the phone interview. On the phone interview, you may or may not find out if you're being invited to the next step, which is a face-to-face. So most people don't know when they get off their phone interview if they're moving forward or not. That seems to be the most standard way. And it doesn't, if you don't get invited to the face-to-face during the phone interview, that doesn't mean that you won't be invited to the face-to-face. Okay. But some people do have their recruiters say like, yeah, I'm so excited, I'd love to move you forward, or allude to the fact that they're going to be invited. But it's not the kind of thing that if they say, check your email, that it's over. Like we see sometimes. It really does mean check your email. Okay. So the next step after that is the face-to-face. Now, they were doing, for a while, Southwest was doing this like hybrid thing where you could either, some people got this video, like a group panel wasn't a group. It was like a panel video interview where you were being interviewed by a couple, like a recruiter and a flight attendant. And that was the face-to-face, and they were hiring off of that. And then they started bringing in live in-person events. And so for a while there, they were doing both, either the video or the event. Not, you didn't do both, you did one or the other. But now it feels like they've completely gotten rid of that video. I haven't seen anyone get invited to a video for several months, and now it appears that they're planning like 2 events per month. So these events are invitation only, even though they're kind of like a hiring event, invitation only, and they are the face-to-face. They're in Dallas. They will fly you in for the day, and they try, if you're interested, you can go on LinkedIn. I see videos from them on LinkedIn, like from the recruiters. So this last one, I saw somebody that was, he was doing some kind of dance. It looked fairly choreographed, and it also involved pom-poms. So it was like so they're trying to really keep the energy up, keep the Southwest spirit up, fun-loving attitude, celebration, not taking yourself too seriously, which are all part of the Southwest way, working and living the Southwest way. So they really try to do that at the event. Okay. So you do get this really like rush of energy, keeping everything upbeat and fun, right? Fun, which is their main thing that they're known for, is fun. So at the event, you can expect to be in a big room or big group of people, big room of people, and they will give a presentation. There'll be time for you to answer questions or ask questions. And they will go over crew bases, where people are going. Right now, they're kind of going to Oakland and Denver for the most part, but who knows what's going to happen once Nashville opens, things like that. We are finally seeing some movement of people being able to transfer into Atlanta. Yes. So that's really exciting. There's so much that's happening and so much growth that's happening. It's really, really exciting. So that presentation, they'll go over training, what to expect. They'll go over pay, how it is figured, and things like that. And then you will have your face-to-face. So the face-to-face, there's no group activity. There's no build the cart together or anything like that. You are in a group. So be aware of the fact that the interview is from, minute 1 to last minute, from beginning to end, you're being interviewed. So please be chatting with your neighbors as appropriate, interacting, keeping a smile on your face, thinking about how you're sitting, how you're carrying yourself, how your face looks while you're waiting, all of these things, because there's not a group interview, but they will be noticing you. They'll notice you, right? If you're just like over in the corner with your, plain face and your RBF and your phone, they'll notice that, even though there's not like a group interview, right? Okay, so then you'll get invited back to do your face-to-face. When it's your turn, it will more than likely be a recruiter, so someone from their human resources, which they call the people department, and a flight attendant. Okay, so a recruiter and a flight attendant who is on special assignment working on the hiring team. And they will ask you questions similar to what you could expect for your phone interview. So again, why do you want to work for Southwest? Why do you feel like Southwest Airlines culture aligns with yours? Maybe a question about core values, maybe a question about hospitality, what hospitality means to you, asking you more questions about a couple more star format questions about teamwork and customer service, about times that you had a disappointed customer and you were able to turn it around, maybe about a time that you had fun at work. So a couple star format questions, nothing though like out in left field, nothing that's like, oh, that's unique, I haven't heard that before. You don't have to worry about those kinds of things. So if you're practicing with the Career Connection interview workbook bundle, or watching the other YouTube videos that I have up on here about star format and what to expect in an interview, you should be good and prepared, which is great. And then they will offer you a job. Yay! So you do get your CJO on the spot. Now, after that, you get your CJO. The next step is the PPST, and it's usually done day of. PPST stands for Physical Performance Standards Test. Physical Performance Standards Test, PPST. That includes the jump seat, um, fitting, I believe it's I was like, I don't know why my brain went blank. I'm like, "Is there a reach test?" I don't believe there's a reach test, but it's the and you have to climb through an overwing exit, walk down a mock aisle. So it's basically like the physical, making sure that your body, your height, weight, dimensions fit within the parameters of what they need. The most important one that I wanna talk about is jump seat. It's a double jump seat. So that means two people sit on it. This is what they have on their planes. All 737s all have a double jump seat. Okay. So when you sit on the jump seat, what my tip or my advice to you is to make sure that you are not taking up more than half of it. Okay. Because there won't be another person sitting there at the time. I have heard some of them have a piece of tape that they've taped down the middle to give you an eyeball. If it's not there, you're gonna have to look with yourself and kind of judge it. But even if your booty needs to be off the edge a little bit, that's preferable to it being centered up and you going into the other person's space. Now, there's not another person there, right? So that's why it's a little bit hard, because if someone was already sitting there, you just naturally like sit next to them, but they're not there. So you want to kind of keep in mind that we want to kind of stay on the side. All right. So you only want to take up half of the jump seat. You don't want to move over into the other half. You don't want to be spilling over into the other half. And then you'll also buckle up the seatbelt, the jump seat harness, and they'll show you how to do it. You don't have to know how beforehand. A good rule of thumb for Southwest is about a size 18 in women's. I don't apologize. I don't know for men's what a good rule of thumb is, but if you're wondering about size, since we're talking about that, that's kind of like a good rule of thumb is about a size 18. You should be good to go. So of course, depending on how you carry your weight and things like that, but that's just a good rule of thumb, I think, to give you at least a starting point. And then also climbing at, not climbing out, but climbing through the overwing exit. They have like a mock-up overwing exit, which is a window exit clamped into a door, and you climb out through that, or you step through it. Actually, you're not like climbing up or anything. You're stepping through it. And then also there's like a walk down the aisle kind of thing where they set it up with tables, chairs, and you walk down an aisle, make sure that you fit down the aisle and back again. Okay. So that's the PPST. That's a physical performance test. Once you're successful with that, then you move on and you're in there, right? You're in there like swimwear. So you're in there and you'll get your fingerprints, drug tests, things like that are done right away or next day. So that, I mean, that's really exciting. So you sign your paperwork, you get all your stuff done. So you've gotten your job offer now. After that, and you've done it. After that, you'll start your background check. So they'll start running your background check. This can take time. I think it's a little bit speedier than it was for a while. There was taking like months, but now it's speeding up a little bit. So I haven't heard any kind of lag time. So they'll run your background check, 10-year background check. They do use an outside company, which they'll explain all of that to you. And sometimes that outside company will contact you for clarification or if they're missing a document or something like that. And then once you're cleared through your background check, then you're given a training date. So they won't give you a training date at the date of the interview. You get the training date after you've cleared your background check. So once you've cleared your background check, then you're given a training date. Training is in Dallas. It's about 4 weeks long. It is not paid, but you do get a stipend at the end when you graduate. Also, they provide transportation, they provide housing, and they provide food. They'll give you a card. It's like a Visa card. I think it's a Visa card, but it has they call it a chow card because it's like a food card. And there's limitations where you can use it. I think you can use it like grocery stores and restaurants and things like that, but it has money on it that you can use to purchase food while you're there. So they do provide food, housing, transportation, and then you get that stipend at the end of training. When you graduate, you get a check. I can't remember. I think it's $1,200. That's approximate, but I don't remember off the top of my head, and I didn't write it down. As far as training goes, the two things that, or the one thing, the hardest thing, I think the most challenge, let me say this. The most challenging thing about Southwest training is you do have to memorize the PAs, which are the announcements. So you have to memorize some of the announcements before you go to training. On their career website right now, they give you some of those PAs. Now they could change, but more than likely they won't change, or they won't change dramatically before you go to training. So they have them on the website, and they say you can start learning these if you want. They also have the airport city codes. That is another thing. If you're not good with city codes, if you're new to aviation and you don't know a lot of city codes, I would also take the time to learn that. That's what they recommend on their website. I agree with that. The PAs are going to be the most difficult because they do have to be memorized word for word, and you're tested on them. So we have some of them available to us now that we can start learning. And then the other ones, all of the other information that we need before training will be mailed. It said that it gets mailed about 4 weeks before you go to training. And I've seen on social media, they actually send like this box. It looks like one of those subscription boxes, like a Fly Girl box or something. But it's Southwest, and you open it up, it's got stickers, it's got like all this like swag and stuff. So that's kind of cool. But they'll give you all of the training materials that you need to learn 4 weeks before training starts is when they estimate that you'll receive it. But again, you can start learning some of those PAs now, and airport codes too if you need to. So that is all of it. That's everything that I wanted to share with you today about the Southwest interview process. Oh, there was one other thing. I don't know if you're watching to the end or not. I guess if you watch, you get to hear this too. I think that Southwest may start doing video interviews in the future because someone that I know who was going through an internal interview process, they were invited to do a video interview with Southwest, which is brand new and never been heard of before. So I don't know if they were testing it and they're going to decide to do it, or if they're testing it and they're deciding not to do it, or what, but they have sort of implemented that technology, at least with some internal positions. So I just thought that was kind of interesting. We'll have to wait and see if the process changes. But for now, this is it. Thank you for spending some time with me. I hope you found this helpful. I'm so excited for you about your future. And I'm excited to hopefully have Southwest open their applications again soon. All right. Have a great day and talk to you later.